they don't make cheap taekwondo helmets in adult sizes. So I gotta go with the natural.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Comedy Happy Hour.
Hey.
The podcast where every episode we try to sit down with a comedian, have a cocktail, and talk about their feelings. Get them to unwind with drinks. What did we decide before?
Well, I think all comedians' feelings is basically just depression.
Okay.
Or anxiety.
Okay.
Or some combination of that. So.
Okay, so feed the fires of pain.
I don't know if that's true.
You shut up. I haven't introduced yet.
Talking comedy with comedians because comedians like to drink.
Because comedians like to drink.
Yeah.
This week, we're lucky to have one of my favorite performers and probably one of the best writers in comedy in Austin, Texas. It's Adam .hrabik.
Oh, well, thank you. Hi.
This is the first time on our show, and like I told you, there's only one out of the crazy fastball question. It's the question that the last person asked to a person they didn't know. They didn't know who was going to be on the show.
Okay.
So the last person wants to know, how did you lose your virginity?
Okay. I was 23. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 23.
Damn. Okay.
And it was July of 2011. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it was a couple of months before I moved here. I'd already graduated college, and it was getting to the point where I wasn't sure that it would ever happen, but also I was getting to the point where I was almost okay with that, and that's when it happened. I was out at a bar with my friend, and I started talking to this girl on a patio, and we just went back to her place and had sex, and that was it.
You finally just
yeah.
Okay. You fruffed off the whole worrying about it thing, and
I think that must have been it. That must have been it, because every actual active attempt I made at having sex failed miserably up until then, as they tend to do, because you don't know how to do that, and nobody is gonna. There's no class for that, and the people who actually there are classes for that, and you should call the police when you find out where they have them, because those are always that's where MRAs get off. MRAs were not MRAs. They're
pickup artists. Yeah.
Pickup artists.
Yeah.
Venn diagrams.
Yeah.
But that's what pickup artists.
It's mystery in the middle. Still, it's still that one guy.
Pickup artists are like people who teach comedy classes, but for fucking. That's all it is. It's all a scam, and you can learn everything online.
Well, and the worst part is they still also get paid. So.
And their advice is bad. It's manipulative. They always wear weird costumes, universally.
They sure do. They all have a Chris Angel fetish,
Yeah.
A lot of them
No,
dress
they think that women have a Chris Angel fetish.
That's true.
That's what it is.
I mean, they want to fuck themselves.
Man,
it's a numbers game, man. It's a numbers game.
It would be awesome if all you had to do to sexually satisfy yourself was dress up as Chris Angel and then look in the mirror. That'd be great.
That's a really cheap date.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
I would spend so little money.
That's a lot of eyeliner, though.
I mean,
that's a one-time expense.
Well,
if you keep buying it.
I mean,
you can reuse eyeliner probably.
You probably buy more mirrors.
Yeah. You want every angle covered.
Ultimately lazy in that point too is you just wake up, still dress like that, and go, fuck yeah, another orgasm.
The first time you dress up as Chris Angel, you have to nail it. As you get used to yourself as Chris Angel, you can be a little lazier. You know what the ideal you as Chris Angel looks like. Yeah. You can use your imagination a little. Maybe you don't want to put on mascara today. It gets clumped up. I'm about to go to bed right after this. It's going to smear all over my pillow. I'm not going to put on mascara today. Next thing you know, you're just wearing sweatpants
and a leather cuff.
A single.
That's all I needed. Yeah.
It's a watch that's inside out, so you can't see the face. So it's just a bracelet.
Because that is a mind freak. I know what time it is.
And you're doing these mental gymnastics, I'm Chris Angel right after playing golf or something.
And then you just right in the sink, and you're like, good as the first time.
Right in the sink.
Right in the sink.
Yeah, I like that. That leads into the message of being an ultimate bachelor too, eating over the sink, looking in the mirror over the sink.
Yeah. One thing every bachelor needs in his house: Drano.
Yeah, it probably clogs things up after a while, especially if that's all you're doing. If you can only get paid for it. But it kind of brings us back to the last thing. People probably get paid to do something like that. Like webcams all over, just like pointing at the mirror. So you never see him directly. You're always looking. The camera's always pointing through the mirror and seeing him going, and then shuddering and going to sleep. just naps and mirrors.
Angel cam.
Well, I'm glad that led to that. I was asking before, like one of the things I like to ask comedians who've been on the show is tell us what your elevator pitch is.
Elevator. Oh, like so I'm in an elevator with
Yeah.
some.
It's Tom Hanks, I guess now.
Okay, me and Tom Hanks.
yeah.
Okay, here is my elevator pitch. Okay, Tom, did you know that elevators have 6 cables each, and 5 of those cables are redundant, meaning that the maximum weight capacity you see on the inside of an elevator, every single one of those cables can hold that much weight by itself. That's the tensile strength of each individual cable, meaning that in order for this elevator to collapse with, let's say, the 2 of us in it, somebody would have to go up on top of the elevator ahead of time and sabotage 5 of the cables, at least weaken the 6th. So what I'm saying is, are you interested in buying my movie about a team of people who descend down an elevator shaft simply to sabotage it in an attempt to bankrupt the ThyssenKrupp manufacturing company?
I think he would say yes. I think that's.
He better say
he
yes.
Better say yes. Yeah, I mean, those well thought out too. Learn it, and it made me feel better about elevators too,
Yeah.
because I don't like elevators in the first place. So.
And then I go to shake his hand. I remember it's still dirty. I go, oh, never mind. Hi.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That you can call it Schindler's Lift.
Oh God.
Schindler's Lift.
Oh God.
Well, because most elevators may have a company named Schindler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. A lot of them are. Yeah.
The button glows red when you hit it.
It's the only thing
That's
that
it.
yeah. I love the use of color in this elevator. It's so important. It's like a metaphor.
And these elevators just go smoothly.
So we've met multiple times. You've been on the Drunkcast a bunch of times.
I have?
Yeah, you have.
Oh.
So I'd like to actually start over. Like, where are you from? You mentioned already on the show that you weren't from Austin originally. Tell us where you from. Where are you from? Yeah.
I'm from Omaha. I'm from right outside Omaha, actually. I grew up in a little town called Louisville, Nebraska. My high school graduating class was 42 people.
Cool.
That's how cool. It's a very cool place to grow up. A lot of diversity, both in like upbringings and like thought processes. A lot of diversity going on there. Very accepting of somebody like me who probably should have been given a fidget spinner when he was second grade. Works out really well for a guy like that.
42 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest class that high school had ever had.
Wow. Was it? How many was it before that? It was like 40?
It was
39?
probably mid 30s, probably.
Keep having kids and they keep turning 16. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, that happened in Kentucky.
Yeah.
When my graduate class was huge, 300 people. So
Sure.
by comparison, I feel like a giant.
Where'd you
But
place?
when they turn 16, they all leave.
Or did you leave that school before you had to figure out if you were better or
No,
worse than the others?
I graduated from there.
Okay.
What I place?
Yeah, like were you valedictorian or?
No, I was like 6th, I think, because I just stopped caring in high school.
Sure.
Everything was very easy, but I just got because I had been like medium smart, which in a very small school like looks very smart. So everything was very easy for me through about middle school. And high school was a little bit harder, and I was not used to doing any work at all. And I was like getting to the point where like trig, maybe calculus is like maybe the most math my brain could possibly do.
Sure. Okay.
So it was like I was actually being challenged, and I was very lazy. So I just kind of sat back a little bit the last couple years of high school.
Okay. Yeah.
But I got a full ride scholarship still to do engineering at a very prestigious engineering school in Omaha, and I took that, and I immediately failed my first 3 semesters.
Like doing core class stuff or just like all of it?
It was I took intro to chemistry twice. It took me 2 times to pass that.
Okay.
Same with the lab. I took intro to computer programming twice. I failed it both times.
Okay.
So it basically I never really got in. I never even got like a chance to get into the more detailed like engineering classes.
Right.
But I could tell based on how interested I was in just the opening stuff. It was not.
It wasn't for you.
No, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
My GPA reflected that. I was just I literally trying to figure out how to computer program if you do not have that kind of brain, which I must not, because it is so frustrating because unless you have like dicked around with a computer as a kid, you have no idea what that's like. There's no and you go to small school, there's no like classes for that.
Sure.
Our high school had a computer lab, and there was one teacher who ran the whole computer lab, and his name was Mr. Stewart, and he had one computers class, like in the entire curriculum available classes.
Was it actually a computer, or was it like a woolly willy, like?
It was
magnets behind a plastic.
Well,
thing
you didn't get a computer. You didn't get a computer for the computer class.
Okay, cool.
You sat down in a desk and you took notes about computers, about what RAM is.
Okay.
And just like the most basic stuff you could possibly learn about computers. And I still had to cheat at those tests to like get good grades.
All right. So after college, after 3 semesters of college, what'd you do?
I switched majors to journalism, and it was right when I was making that transition that I started doing comedy.
Right. Starting off with what?
Sorry?
Was starting off with what? Like, what was your first foray in comedy?
Oh, into comedy.
Yeah.
I had wanted to do stand-up for a long time. I started writing articles, then submitting them at College Humor, because back then the internet was small enough that you could open a window to accept content from your users, and it wouldn't just inundate you with the same joke 80,000 times. It was still small enough, so they would say, "Hey, here's our basic article writing kit. It's basically what you would write a blog with.
Cool.
And if you happen to know a little more ways to tweak it a little more beyond that, like with HTTP, if you know that, you can have fun with it." And so I started doing that. And I got a couple of them like accepted onto the front page. I got paid for one of them.
Cool.
Because I got enough hits.
How old were you at that point?
I started my freshman year of college. I basically did that all through college.
Cool.
Until the site kind of stopped. They kind of stopped that model.
Yeah.
Went more to videos and like just like image content, like an Imgur type place. But with also like original videos, which if people got writing jobs on those from writing the articles too. So there was an outlet for that, but I never really pursued that.
Oh, sure.
I started doing stand up instead because I'd wanted to. I remember watching like all the seasons of Last Comic Standing. Like I remember the first one came on and I was like very interested in it for some reason. This was back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I would be at play practice, and when I wasn't on stage, actually, I would just have a notebook, and I would just be writing like page-long jokes that, if I read them now, I know they'd be abysmal. I know one was about how the donut hole is like the guy who broke up the band of a donuts. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And I tried to do comedy at a couple places. There was one bar in Omaha I knew that had open mic on Tuesday nights, and I tried to go there a couple of times, but they wouldn't let me because I was only 20.
Yeah, you were too young. Yeah.
But there was another bar that was about to start having a comedy open mic on Wednesdays, and I talked to the guy who was running it. His name was Cody. That's Cody Hustack. He told me that I posted out there somewhere that I was like, I want to do comedy, but I can't get into bars. And he's like, well, this bar will let you in. Just, show them your ID, and they'll give X's on you so you don't order drinks or anything.
Yeah.
And so I tried it there one night and just tanked. Just like not able to even finish a thought. Just so I had expected it to be very easy going on stage because I'd done plays since I was in like 4th grade. I'd been on stage plenty of times. I'd like, stage fright, not a thing I have. But when you're up there by yourself reading your own words and thoughts and like everybody in the crowd is like at least closer to 10 years older than you. Just like you're like, this is an entirely new thing I've thrown myself into. I was not prepared for this at all.
Yeah, we had Lisa Friedrich on last week. She said kind of something similar because she did improv for a long time. And the first time getting up there and knowing that you have no support.
Yeah.
Like looking around and say, oh, it's just me right now. That's that could be pretty scary.
I ended up just starting out. I'd written out 3 full bits that if I told them at length, and I did once to like a group of like 6 friends before I tried this on stage. That lasted about 8 minutes. So I was like, I get 5 minutes, I'll do like 2 of them. And so I started at 1. I got about a minute into it, and I realized I just like everything was not working so well that you for some reason, like the confidence that you get from like a line working, it acts like a tightrope that you can just like follow to the next part of the bit. So if it's working, it's very easy to find your way around a new bit. But if it's like not working, you lose confidence in that thought. You lose confidence in the thought you're saying, and you're like, oh shit, I don't even know if I trust the way I was thinking when I wrote this. Maybe I should try to come up with something else to say. And I obviously wasn't experienced enough to just like make up stuff outside my head.
Oh, it's impressive enough you were able to figure that out your first time on stage, going, oh shit, this is not working. How do I navigate this trap?
Yeah.
That's great instinct. That's
awesome. No. I'm telling you this now. Years removed. At the time, I was just, okay, this isn't working. Well, next thing. And then I just paced back and forth. I think because I had like tried to memorize it, and when I memorize and talk to myself, I will like pace back and forth in my room or whatever. So I was like, all right, well, I was walking back and forth when I memorized this. Maybe if I walk back and forth while I'm up here, I'll remember it. Maybe the muscles will work that way. It just didn't. I don't.
I was supposed to take a turn right before that. Let me start over. Yeah, I got the timing wrong on this foot, and
Well, you told the stories if you had the confidence and foresight at a young age, so stick with it, telling it that way.
I memorized the jokes while listening to John Philip Sousa, so I have this down to a march. The joke goes with the march. The joke goes with the march.
And clap.
Are there any of those jokes that you kind of miss, like something that you thought would that maybe you could punch up, you could do something better, or anything that sticks? Because we have a couple of people who've been on the show who've kept at least something and tried to bring it back to, or like Christina Parrish said, she still has a joke that one of the first jokes she ever told, she still tells. Would you like a shocker joke or whatever? That was one of the first jokes she's ever.
That's such a good joke, and it's even funnier that. Nobody likes it. No, like in an audience of 30 well-meaning people, 6 of them will really like it the way that it should be liked.
The way it should be liked, yeah.
And the other 24 will have some sort of reaction where they have to both acknowledge what has happened as like some semblance of quality, but not one that they appreciate themselves. And it's very interesting to see this. It's very interesting to see how they handle that. How they handle that. Now it's my responsibility to respond to this.
Yeah, maybe it's like a litmus test. Figure out if it was like
crowd pressure is like, well, they're laughing. So
meanwhile, it's an incredible joke.
So do you have any jokes like that? Incredible jokes now. Do you have any jokes like that from long ago that you like, if you can tell it a little bit better? Or like
actually, I've lately been bringing one back. I've tried to do this one. This is probably the 3rd iteration of this joke. It's about weathermen and how I think they're underappreciated in the newsroom because they're the only ones. They're the only ones who have to actually like do work and like math before they go on camera.
Yeah,
like the most work a reporter will ever do is like go compile a story.
Yeah,
but once you get to be an anchor, you don't do that anymore. You just sit in the newsroom.
People bring it to you. Yeah.
You organize the list, the order. You work with the producers to like put on just a TV show. That's your whole job, is putting on a TV show. But the weatherman has to actually like do science and then turn that science into something like with clouds and suns with smiley faces. Like, here's all the hard work I've been doing. Cloudy, Claude the Cloud mascot, is going to help me show you guys what the weather's going to be like this week. And I think I maybe started with that premise 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And I just brought it back after I was in Nebraska for Christmas, and I found out that there is a weatherman in Omaha who, for WOWT, the local NBC affiliate, named Rusty Lord, and it's the most fascinating name that I've ever seen.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So that's my Twitter name.
That's
That's
your Twitter
why
name.
that's
Yeah.
my
I was
Twitter
like, I've
name.
heard that before. Oh, that's why.
Urban Dictionary.
Rusty Lord is definitely something else too.
It's just I loved it immediately. As I've had what one might consider an intimate relationship with the local TV personalities of the Omaha metro area. I know the sagas that went down. I bounced a rubber duck off of the Channel 6 anchor's head when I was 4 years old at a telethon.
Is that true?
Yes.
That's not a bit.
That is. I tried to make it a bit once. But it's hard. It's hard to work. That's another one I'm trying to make good and like universally palatable. But I don't know if I will. Is like I've been working on bits about how I have had cancer, and I think it was the day of the Children's Miracle Network telethon. They do like all day on a Sunday. It's a national thing, but then like the local affiliates will like pop up with, here's us in our news studio. We've got some local cancer kids, and they're gonna talk to you. And they got me to do it because like my nurse thought I was cute, and she knew somebody at the TV station who was working on this. So she was like, Adam should do it. He'll be a cute little 5-year-old kid. And I was like, completely autismed out when I was sitting up there, and I just took a rubber duck that they gave me and I just started bouncing it off her head instead of answering any questions.
Oh my God, is there a video?
This is why we need your help.
Oh man, we got. I should go down to WOWT and see what their archives look
Their
like.
archives, yeah.
This was in probably 92, 93 at the latest. No, we're moving houses. So it was in 1993, but so everything was still on VHS. So it might be, I don't know if they digitized their archives. Man, it could be a hunt.
Oh man, it'd be worth the hunt.
There's
though.
probably, I'm sure these will have the VHS someplace, but
Yeah, there's
no way of watching
some reel to reel. Yeah.
Yeah, and they definitely have like some guy come by with air duster just to like keep all the archives dust free. They do that, yeah, I bet. Of course.
It's not limited space at all.
No,
Those tapes are very small.
local TV doesn't bleed money.
Right.
I'll take
I'll take another one too. So I know, like, in talking to you outside, just talking to you like a normal fucking human being, seeing you on Facebook. I know that
that's normal.
what, Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
we call it meat space.
Talk about your meat space.
Isaac Newton prophesied the meat space.
Like I said before, I consider you one of the best writer comics in, you know, like
Thank you. Consider again, though.
that fucking that Fonda joke is so fucking perfect.
Thank you.
All out of Africa. Man.
Oh yeah, that was good.
But like just in general, like long series of like energy that leads from one joke to the next joke. But I also know that you have a lot of opinions about politics, especially political things that are going on right now, that you don't put in the material that I've seen so far. Are you trying to separate those two people?
Yes and no. I like a lot of people like came out of this election like thinking, oh, I've got some heavy insight into this, and I quickly learned I really don't. I don't think.
Sure.
The only bit I've been able to make work kind of at all about this is a bit I have about like Bernie Sanders and how I supported him in the primary, and like one of the arguments that gets lobbed against particularly left politics, especially people who want to see the welfare state like brought back to strength, is that those guys, they just wanted to get free things. And the joke I tell is like, yeah, it's great. Free things are awesome.
Things are pretty fucking great.
Yeah. So, and that's just like an honest thought I have. So I think like if I could find a way to make it sound like it's coming from me personally instead of just opining about, oh, Donald Trump said this crazy thing. You guys are not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Do you know what this means for the future of our country? I don't have the gravitas to do that. Also, I feel like most people have a negative reaction when they see my face. I don't know. I just have that feeling. I don't know. I have no reason to believe that from any empirical evidence. It's in my head that I probably have a very punchable face. That's why I'm trying to grow a beard right now, is to hide more of the punchability behind a beard.
Soften it up a little bit, yeah.
Behind a forest disguise.
It'll cushion the blow just in case it ever comes out too. So.
Yes, that is true too. Yeah, because they don't make cheap Taekwondo helmets in adult sizes, so I gotta go with the natural.
I have an extra one, I think, somewhere. I just can give it to you.
I have a very big head.
I have a pretty big head too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's all Velcro too. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Safe.
What do you think? What's your favorite thing in comedy right now?
And it's right, man. Right now it's anything that's unlike anything I've seen before. I like a lot. I really liked the first couple seasons of Eric Andre's show.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's still one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen. A lot of the things Tim and Eric get their hands on ends up being just incredible. But Eric Andre's show in particular, just the edits that made no sense, the cutting in the middle of a person's sentence.
It's a very active, like, it's an interesting, American Andre show specifically feels like an interesting way of the Galifianakis style of, like, or Tim and Eric, let's be weird and anxious.
It also,
but it's so, like, that weird and anxiety kind of driven thing almost feels like it's lazy when other people do it. But the Eric and Andre show is so much work involved in the thing that they're doing to make it look like it's a fuck up constantly.
To me,
I love it. I actually, yeah.
To me, I think it expresses a frustration, and the stuff that works from this comedy I like most of all expresses a frustration.
Yeah.
And when you watch Eric Andre's show, what you have at face value is like a very poorly produced talk show.
You're right.
But you can turn on any like local TV between like 6 a.m. and like 11 a.m. and you'll see some earnestly produced TV that's not much better.
Yeah.
It's all very shitty. And it looks like a frustration of like the medium being used, and just like because he's got this talk show that is like literally they're lighting things on fire. The set is destroyed multiple times every episode, but it is still the same like late night TV set that you'll see on every late night television show, and it just shows how limited like the imagination is. And it to me, it just like it's just screaming but funnier.
Right. Yeah. So, as the flip side of that, what's a thing in comedy right now that you think is overplayed or needs to die out?
Ooh, man, that's an interesting. Let me think.
My default's always Big Bang Theory. So.
Well, sure. Yeah.
I think Big Bang Theory serves a purpose. It
you gotta sell Burger King, you know.
I think not to bring it back to politics, but I think Big Bang Theory is a good representative for Donald Trump, not because they're both dumb or anything, but because they were initially seen as just a way to. This will like absorb some of the like like the tension that it comes from being like sort of like middle lower class. Like this is the kind of people who will watch this show. It'll be something there'll be something mindless they can put on after TV or after work, and they can just kick their shoes off, turn their brains off, and like chuckle at this really harmless comedy show.
Yeah, it's
and
harmless.
Like all TV, it's just an opiate. That's what the intention was.
Yeah.
And now it's the most popular show on TV and has been for years. The
yeah.
most popular. It is a behemoth now. And you can't look at that and go, oh, that's what happened with Donald Trump, is he was used as this way to absorb a lot of tension and like, we can laugh and go, look how stupid they are for watching Big Bang Theory and supporting Donald Trump.
They are.
Look how fucking stupid those people are for liking this thing. It's definitely but look, they're really attaching to it. We knew this would work. But, like, it's not going to get out of control. It's not going to be the most popular thing. Definitely won't happen that way. I'm very smart.
Let's take a break. We'll come back, and I'll have you answer that question about comedy. Something needs to die.
Yes, I would like a moment to think about
think
that.
about that.
Because that is a very good question. I want to answer it earnestly.
And then we'll do a shot with you and find out where you are and what you're doing and all that stuff. And we'll be back. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
This is the second segment, or really the last segment, kind of a rounding things out. Now that Adam's had some time to think about it, what do you think is something that's overplayed in comedy that needs to die out?
I don't know if it's overplayed, but I see it a lot, and it's recently started to just make me mad. It's like jokes about homeless people. It's like they're very easy to make, and I get why. Because it, like, a lot of times, like, we all lead fucking boring lives. We all, like, nothing remarkable happens to us most days. Yeah. So I understand how, like, the most interesting story you can think of maybe that happened to you that week was, like, a man who was starving to death said a funny thing to you. And like in a moment of sheer vulnerability, stripped by society of all shame, said a thing that didn't make sense.
Right.
I understand how that might be the most noteworthy thing that might have happened to you, but like it's such an easy thing to do, and it just grosses me out when I see it. It is one of those things that you see mostly at open mics.
Yeah.
To be fair,
right.
And I definitely made homeless jokes too when I was coming up, because like you're just scrambling for something to do a joke about. But like there's so many things you can do. There's so many things that you can tell jokes about, and you can maybe, I don't know, if you want to be a fucking nitwit and like challenge things, you could like ask, why are these people homeless? Why are we okay with like a system that just lets this happen?
Right.
Or you can just say, hey, this fucking homeless guy, he was wearing, you will not get this, he was wearing two shoes, both left shoes. Boy,
right.
Don't ask that guy to dance. You know what I mean?
I don't know where that cigarette came from all of a sudden, but like, you guys missed this. Adam just took a long drag of a cigarette and just like a leather jacket.
It puffed up into a big cartoony cigar that looks like a waffle cone.
I told him to get out of here. That's my thing. Get out of here. We'd like to share some specialty shots. Tammy made this specifically because everything else is apple teeny flavored. What are we calling this? The Adamnator? It's a drink based after you. So
okay.
Drink that. Chew your health.
The Angry Adam.
That's a complex flavor profile.
That is a large shot. That is that was about the entire size of my mouth. I had like 6 teeth removed over my like childhood because my fucked up Irish teeth didn't match my fucked up like Czech jawbone. So I just literally had like I don't have any missing gaps in my teeth, but they had to like pull 6 out because otherwise they're gonna get all growing all fucked up and look like a tooth urchin.
Sure.
Just a sea urchin of teeth sticking out in weird directions.
Like a Langolier, yeah.
So I only have like 26 teeth, but they're like there's no gaps. It's all there. But I just have a small mouth now.
Interesting. I should Okay, that's kind of fascinating. I'm glad we were able to stick that in there.
Just a little something, yeah.
Yeah, a little tidbit, you know. That's going to go in your baseball card.
Yeah.
Number of
you
teeth,
can-
26.
Yeah.
So you can find me at my website, facebook.com/I fucking love science.
Last question for you is, what do you want to ask the next person who's on?
Ooh, okay.
I can't tell you who it's going to be.
All right. That might be kind of triggering to ask. Because I want to ask. I want to show you my thought process. I want to ask, have you ever hated yourself and why?
Okay.
But I don't know, like, if I don't know who's coming up next. I don't know if somebody who has ever been like suicidal. I don't want to like bring that up. I know that's it's not like depression's a very fucked up thing, and I'm not to oversimplify it even just now is insensitive of me. So maybe I won't ask that. How about
He's so woke.
let me. Okay. Do you consider yourself to be abnormal? And if so, have you ever wished to be normal?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. Well, thank you so much for doing this show with us. We appreciate it.
It's been fun.
It's always good to see you. And, of course, you're hanging out for Drunkcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where can we find you online?
Twitter.com/AHRABIK, or just search for Rusty Lord.
That's Lord with an E, right?
No,
It's not? Okay.
it's just LORD.
Okay.
And you look for WOWT's Rusty Lord. I also have the tornado emoji in the name, so look for that.
Yeah.
I don't think the actual guy has that in his display name, but he should. It looks great. No matter what operating system you're using, the tornado emoji looks pretty cool.
It's pretty. Yeah.
They do a
yeah.
good job
Pretty
across
perfect.
the board with that one.
Thanks.
I'm on Facebook, adam.hrabik. You can read some of my old stuff that I used to write at manversusfood.tumblr.com.
Yeah.
Or you can read the new thing I'm working on called Dumb Dead Presidents.
Okay.
Tumblr. No. Is that it? Dead Dumb. Is it? I think it's Dumb Dead Presidents.
Okay.
Man, I got to learn the name of my thing.
I'll find it. I'll correct it for you.
I only have one of those up, but I'm working on a second one right
Cool.
now.
What's the theme of that one?
I want to talk about how every president sucked,
Okay.
and they're shitty and they're dumb, and most of them are dead.
That's true.
That's all accurate.
Yeah.
That's a deep well too. But that sounds like a project I could totally get into, and that's fun. That's fun.
I'm doing a lot more research than I thought I would because I'm finding a compulsion to cover my own ass more on this one.
Cite your sources. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. And so you're not doing man versus food anymore?
It's not on Netflix anymore, so it's harder for me to find the episodes.
Did you already go all the way through the whole series?
No,
I'm sure I can get them to you somehow.
I've done about half of them. I think.
I'll figure out a way to set it up so you can do it because I love that project too.
I've looked for them on torrents, and I think I would have like the only file with any amount of like cedars is like I would have to download the whole series, and I don't want to spend like 4 hours doing that.
Sure.
This is annoying.
Fuck up your ratios.
Four
yeah.
hours take up like half of my memory left. I don't need that.
Yeah. Cool. This show will come out. Next week. So where are you after Wednesday?
Ooh, after Wednesday, home, baby.
Okay. No shows. Nothing coming up.
Nothing coming up in that week that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. I'll reach back out, and if something comes up.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, and Dylan, thanks for helping me run the show.
Yeah.
If you like the show, please go find us on iTunes and give us a good rating. And Adam, you're welcome to give us if you would go give us a rating like a Yelp review, like you went to the Comedy Happy Hour restaurant and you were giving. you can be totally critical if you want to. You can give us 1 star. Like
The waiter asked very good questions.
totally fine. Yeah.
Really got down to what would make this a good experience.
Although I just wanted to eat. He wouldn't
wanted
stop
to
asking
eat.
questions. You can find us on iTunes. This show will be on Google Play, will be on Stitcher, will be on TuneIn, all of those places. Anytime you can get podcasts, you can get them there. Go to facebook.com/comedy happy hour or twitter.com at comedy happy hour and comedy happy hour on Instagram. We were able to score.
We actually got that one.
We got that one all the way through. I was pretty happy about that. And you can actually call or text 802-359-7468 if you have questions or questions at comedyhappyhour.com for anything like that. And I've been Travis, and we love you so much. And podcast responsible. Bye.
Content Pen